It was up as Rashad Antonio, the Upon Further Review, here for the final episode of the series, man. Shogun. That is episode 10. You remember the name of the episode?
Dream of a dream.
There we go. All spoilers. Gotta talk about a thing to talk about a thing. Okay, so okay, three questions.
Mm-hmm.
One, how do you feel about this show's ending?
Okay.
Two, do you think they stuck the proverbial landing? And then three, is this show an exercise in subverting expectations?
Yeah, Rashad, you coming hard, ain't you?
I'm
All
just
right.
because this is how I felt after I finished watching it. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
So, what's the first question again? I'm sorry.
Overall impressions of the episode.
Overall impressions. Number one. Okay. I know. I remember. I remember. The second question was, did they stick the landing?
Yeah. Overall impressions first.
Overall impression of this episode was they found a way to tie everything up in a nice little bow without really giving a whole lot. Does that make sense?
Elaborate.
It was explained what happened without parting my phone. Sorry. It was
so professional.
It was explained what happened without actually showing us in full detail what happened. True. At the end. For me, the only confusing thing was the flash forward scenes of old Blackthorne with his grandchildren. That's the only thing that was confusing for me because I was, because it seems as
I'll get to that.
Yeah, that was the only kind of confusing thing for me. I would have loved to seen how we got to that point. You know what I'm saying? How we got to that point. So that was kind of disappointing. Overall storytelling, good God. I mean, this was basically when you was a kid and you used to get a puzzle as a toy.
Great analogy.
A puzzle. And you open the box, you drop all the pieces on the floor, on the table or whatever, and then you flip the puzzle on the back to see what it's supposed to look like. This basically put all the pieces together to give you what the vision of the ending was. But it's basically skipped watching someone put that puzzle together. If that makes, it basically gave you, it basically somebody was recording, if they was recording me putting a puzzle together, they didn't sit there and wait the entire, for this one episode, by the way, just this one episode, they didn't sit there and wait the entire time me putting the puzzle together. They saw, you saw the beginning of me putting the puzzle, emptying the box, putting it down, and then they would come back and take a video of the puzzle of me figuring out where to start with some stuff, and they'll come back and you'd be like, okay, this is as far as I got in here. This is how far I've gotten here. This is how I got to this point, and then boom, you see the end of the puzzle. But you understand what happened. But is you understand what happened and you understand how we got to this point, but there are some things that you wish I could have saw how you actually came up with a strategy to come to this point, to get to this point. I know I'm talking all around in circles.
No. You're right. You're right.
Okay.
You're right.
Okay.
Again, it's your impressions. How you feel,
right.
Tony?
Okay.
We don't want to
yeah, right.
denigrate your feelings.
Yeah. So that's how I felt about the episode. Did I like it? I did. The ending was like the very, very ending basically was just it was just an ending. After I saw it, I was like, man, this show was really good. But then I did look and I searched to see, okay, maybe they are going to do a couple of more episodes for a season 2 or half a season 2 or something like that. Maybe, possibly.
The ability
is there. However, they said, I read somewhere where they was like, the show basically left off how the book ended.
Yeah. So
they left off how the book ended. So that's it. And that's the source material. There's no other story. There's this and that. It ended.
Yeah.
I guess near the end of this, I'll get to some things I wish I would have seen, or some things I wish I would have seen resolved, or some things I didn't understand and I wish I understood more. But as far as how I like the show, cool. How about you, Rashad?
we'll do this like like snake style. So I'll answer the next two in a row. So we
Okay.
got overall impressions like this episode itself. When I watched this, I watched the first 2/3 at like 6 o'clock in the morning. Then I had to get ready for work because I was running out of time. And I watched the last third. Okay. So my impressions watching the first 2/3 is like, yo, okay, I'm wondering if something else is going to actually like happen. There's going to be like a battle. You know what I'm saying? And then I watched the last third, and it's essentially Toranaga explaining what his true plan was to Yawashige. You know what I'm saying? And then and this is the funny thing. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so like I was just teaching my kids in school about archetypes.
Okay.
And in this episode, the archetype that Yabushige fulfills is essentially the everyman. Like this character, for the most part, is the voice of the audience. And he is literally asking Toranaga, yo, what was your plan? How did you get to this point? And I know I'm about to perform a seppuku on myself because no, I've been out here just wow. I've been straddling the fence the whole season. You know what I'm saying? And then Toranaga kind of lays out his four-dimensional chest to him. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, I get it. I get it. I get it. Like, okay. So which leads me to my did they stick? Oh yeah, like I was filming the episode, but then when it like I saw the last third of it, like it all came together. Did it stick the landing? And that is an essential question because we know how you can have the best of anything. And that last episode, like, yo, like what the hell was y'all doing? And then it kind of leaves a bad taste in your mouth, you know, quote unquote. They did. And I had to like kind of think back to the beginning of the whole thing to really understand like how they did and kind of getting into the mind of the character. So Toranaga, the entire time, he's made a couple things very clear. One, he did not really want to be Shogun. He did not want to be the Shogun. And then two, he really wasn't trying to be violent with anybody. Like he wasn't trying to have a whole lot of discord. But and the third one is this. The third one is most important. He wanted Japan to maintain peace, like the former Takaido, like his reign was a peaceful reign, and he wanted to maintain that peace. He saw how the regions was like how they was moving. He saw that Christianity came through and kind of put a whole wrench in everything because of the Western influences and how they were using religion as a means to just, you know, pillage and profit for their own gain. And he was like, I gotta make sure that Japan is like, you know, is together. And when I thought about it that way, I was like, okay, the character already told us what he wanted to be done, and essentially he did that. My only thing for me, because and this is just a personal thing, because I just was sad that like our main character had to die because she was part of the plan. Like even though story wise they explained it, you know what I'm saying? And not only they explained it, it made sense for her in as well because she wanted to die. She's been wanting to die since we met the lady. You know what I'm saying? And then using that as the fuel to have Lady Ochiba have a change of heart, which I low-key saw coming in episode 9. I said, yo, she ain't really she was never feeling Ishido. You know what I'm saying? She just did that because it was her play. But then she kind of saw her old friend and just how loyal her friend was to Toranaga, and also how she hold them in front of their faces like that. And it was like, you know what, man, forget it, yo. I just killed myself. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then did not give him any help in return. So, yo, what should we do? Man, y'all grown, man.
Yeah.
Y'all got it. You
And then
got it.
remember what she said. She was like, man, she ain't gonna kill herself. And she was like, yeah, yes, she is.
Yes, she will.
Yes, she will.
She will.
She's going to kill herself. And y'all playing in her face. She's playing in y'all face right now. And y'all really don't see this, but she's really going to kill herself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And now just the maneuverings of all of that lead us to the fact that he ain't even had to fight, which was his whole plan. He said we're gonna meet up. The whole the five nations is gonna meet up, and nothing's gonna happen because Ichido is not gonna have the banner behind him. I will have the banner behind me. You know what I'm saying? And then
they're gonna take care of him for me.
And then it's a done deal. Like the story's over for him. And then what the order he wanted, what he wanted in the first place happens. The little goofy little boy is gonna end up being the leader of all Japan when he gets to age, and then out of just consolation, he's gonna be the shogun. You know what I'm saying? Which is kind of implied that's what he always wanted anyway.
But
you know what I'm saying?
But like he put the whole no, I don't,
Yeah. He hit us with like the false humility the whole time. Again, your man has been playing games since episode 1.
Can we just go ahead and call Toranaga what he really is, man?
What?
That man is goddamn diabolical, yo.
Tony.
He is right.
Tony.
By the scene when he's explaining everything to Yabashige, and he's telling this stuff, and right before his second in the seppuku, and he's telling him stuff, and then she was like, well, I guess I ain't gonna never see this, but tell me what's going on. He was just like, dead people don't need to know what's going on. I said,
why am I getting plans to a dead man? You know what I'm saying? Like,
this man is diabolical. And I was just like, and the thing is, Yabashige realized, like, I shouldn't have never done this. But if he didn't do what he did, that would have messed up his whole plan. This man, let's just talk about this real quick.
Go ahead.
Toranaga is diabolical. So when he's explaining to Yabashige everything that's happening, Yabashige's like, so we're talking about the show. He's like, so the show just basically picks up where it left off last week. It picks up right after the explosion.
Before you start that's what I want to give you some clarity about. Okay. Consider so Blackthorne, right? We start with basically Blackthorne and being old. So remember, this is really a dream sequence. This ain't real. Now the totem is going to be the rosary. Remember, in the dream, he has the rosary in his hand and he's talking to some kids, right? And he's all old and gray and decrepit.
So you think that's a dream sequence?
Because think about it. If you're going to do this thing the right way, he at the end of the episode, your girl put the ashes and then he drops the rosary.
Right.
That's the same. It's the same exact rosary.
Okay.
So right. Yeah. So in his mind, as he's dreaming, he done went home. You know what I'm saying? He's an old, dying, dead man.
Okay, right.
And then he's on the rosary, and the kids is like, because think about it. So I thought about this. I was watching it. I said, yo, why would the kids say that? Savages. I'm like, yo, like this man actually went home and was like, yo, like these kids, like I went to Japan and these barbarians to me. Nah, yo, like, and then he has all these relics in the room. Yeah. Like he has the Shogun head and he has like the blade. I'm like, I didn't ever saw. I said, yeah, that's
okay. That makes sense. That makes sense. Because at first I was just like, I wish I would have really fully understand that, but it makes sense now that was a dream. See, that's when he comes to, because they say he was like out after that bomb
for days
or whatever. He even missed Marco's burial, Christian burial. But you see that in the beginning, but then you pick up right in the room where, after the explosion, Marco didn't get blown to bits and pieces like I thought she did. She's, saying, but she did take the impact, and he's holding her. And one thing that did happen that she wanted to, she always kind of mentioned him, like, what do you believe in? Do you have a serve a God or anything like that? He sees her dying, and he's like praying for her body. He's praying for her, like kind of giving her her last rites, or what, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Last, even though she already had did that with the with that Catholic
With the priest
or whatever. And Yabashige is like, hey, we gotta go. But you see the council meeting, and like Kamiyama was like, hey man, who ordered this, bro? Like, what's going, like, Lady Mariko shouldn't have died like this, bro. Like, what is going on? And even the disfigured dude, they was like, yeah, man, this shouldn't have happened, saying this shouldn't have happened or whatever. Even Toranaga's, creepy brother was kind of like,
yeah, y'all went a little too far with this.
Y'all went a little too far with this. And Ashita was just like, hey, man, whether because he was like, because Toranaga brother was like, yeah, he's gonna come here now. Well, he's gonna basically come
this
here
is gonna
now.
be this is gonna be
a war. And then she was like, hey, we got the heirs. The heir got our back with his army. It's gonna be all right, baby. He gonna either die coming in to surrender, or he gonna die on that battlefield. That's one thing for sure, is that he gonna die. We ain't got nothing to worry about. And all of them sitting there looking like, I don't know about this. And so then the Christian samurai guys was like, look here, man. We have to allow Lady Mariko to have a Christian burial, like, period. We need to have Larry Christian. This dude, she was like, man, F her and this daggone and her Christian burial. He basically was like, yo, F her and her burial. We getting ready for war, this and that, blah, 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 blah. And then Lady Achiba was like, whoa. Relax, bro. Relax.
Calm down.
We are going to grant her the right to her burial, Christian burial. That's that. And Sheeta was like, all right, fine. So fine. Let her have. I'm going to let her have her burial or whatever. In the meantime, Toranaga has already been notified what happened. He's mourning, but he's not the sickly Toranaga that we saw in the previous episodes and stuff. No. And so, Blackthorne finally comes to, and he's like been like out for days. And they're like, yeah, you can get ready to go back. We'll take you back to the port so you can go on back to Toranaga, get your ship, and you can get on up out of here. Meanwhile, Yabashige has lost his freaking mind. This dude is so grief-stricken. He's just like doing 1,000-yard stare. Ashido comes to him and was like, hey, man, you serve well, man, this and that. He was like, hey, man, no, like, Lady Mariko, it shouldn't have happened to her like this. And he's just like, it's okay. Oh, mind you, too, when the regents were meeting, after, Sheeta was like, yeah, so after this burial thing, we gonna get ready for war. And he's getting ready to sign the document. It was not an earthquake, but a tremor. And all of them was looking around like, how about
let's not table this right now. Let's talk about this
right now. And so Yabashige is like, Shito goes over to Yabashige and is like, hey man, it's all right. Once we kill this dude, hey, you gonna get you a spot up here on the thing. It's gonna be all
you about
good,
to be on
baby.
the region too, big dog.
And he's like, Yabashige's like, nah, man, this and that. He was like, I remember when the Taiko would want to go to war with Toranaga. It was an earthquake that like just happened. He was like, yeah, man, I'm good. He was like, I'm good, bro. This and that. Then he starts seeing things. He see a pond, is like, it was a catfish. And then Shito's looking like, yo, what is wrong with this dude? Yeah, but she's like, it's a catfish. He's in the water trying to get, he was like, hey, yo, bro, ain't no catfish in that pond or whatever. He was like, oh yeah, man, I know this. But they're still looking for a catfish because he said like it was a catfish, the superstition.
Yeah, yeah.
And so next thing you know, like I said, they get Blackthorne and they get the priest or whatever, and they're like, Blackthorne is like sitting there look, and he sees like Kimiyama's men. They supposed to escort him to the fort. He's like, all right, I know what this is. Go on and do what you're gonna do,
I'm
baby.
about to die in the forest like everybody else.
He's like, I know what this is. And so then, like,
when I saw that forest, I said, oh damn.
I said, here we go. I said, and in the same spot too. I said, this same spot, right? I know this mother. Here we go. They trying to kill me in the forest again. Dang. In the whispering woods. Here we go.
hey, real quick though, when they was in the Regis meeting and they was trying to figure out who sent the shinobi. And they was and she was like, oh man, that the only person smart to do that would be Toranaga. I'm like, yo, he's trying to use his intelligence against him, which is like crazy.
Toranaga, and they always like, yeah, relax, guy. We know what we
do. Yeah, I don't think so. And then it was like, man, we got to get out of Capital because it's obviously
it ain't safe. It obviously ain't safe here. It was like, it's the safest place you can be, baby. It's the capital. We here. So the priest tells like Blackthorne, like, no, you're free to go. We're to escort you to the thing. And then so they stop so he stops in the middle of the forest, is like, and like, saying like they're just talking, and he's talking about Marco, and it's like, yeah, man, blah blah blah, this and that. And he was just like, I prayed to God, not your God, not my God, just God. That's what Blackthorne's like, just God. I just wanted her to be safe. I just hope that she went over to the other side. And then he was like, well, Lady Marco did come to me before all that stuff, and I gave her her last, her last rites, so she's gonna be fine. And he was like, well, I guess that means I'm not. And he was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I know what this spot is, bro. He said, this is the same place I've always. He said, so we're gonna do. He was like, no, you are not. He says, the Christian church is not going to kill you. He said, and then he told Blackthorne straight up, look, Lady Marco came to the Christian church and said, forgive him, let him go free, he's fine. And they all were like, and they like, that really hit Blackthorne hard. Like, this woman really did like care about me. She appreciated me, this and that, and she's dead kind of because of me. Because I wanted to turn my back on this dude. He felt all of that pressure. And then you see them going out on the ship, and Yabashige is still doing a little crazy thing. Like, hey man, we could get your ship, man, and we could go. Where you from? Country? Where you from? He said, England.
Let's get out of here.
I'm not trying to go face Toranaga. Let's go.
He said, fam, teach me how to dive. I was he said,
come on, teach me how to dive. You see, like, the people looking at this dude like this dude is a lost cause. They get into the bay that's supposed to see Blackthorne ship.
It went back to Edo.
And back to Edo. They made it back and it was in the bay. That thing was sunk to the bottom of the bay. And Blackthorne's face was like,
here's the water line. Here's the ship.
Yeah. He was just like, oh boy. And then that's when Shibe was like, damn. And so they get on land. You see the consorts of
Toranaga
get off, and they're like, oh, we great for you back, blah 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 blah. Blackthorne gets off. The guy that's Toranaga's spy, he takes him off to the side. She get off and be like, hey nephew, he says swords. They take that man's sword and they drop him down to the knees, and Umi is like, uncle.
Yeah, these is Toranaga's men.
Toranaga's men. We got to go meet with him right now. And so we find out what happened. Toranaga's there, and she's like, hey, what's good, my guy? It's a shame what happened. I heard, so you must have heard what happened. He was like, yeah, I already know what happened. And he's like, well, how do you know? He says, well, I know about you too, Mo. Dude, he was like, he says, yeah, so one of Lady Marco's lady in waiting was in the little shack that blew up, and she told me how you were reacting. You was like, very apologetic. You was grieving, like, no, I'm sorry, apologizing. And and that lady in waiting sent a letter to your nephew here, Umi. And Umi said, yeah, this ain't right. Let me show this to my lord, my liege lord. And he showed it to me. So I got a question. Is it your fault? Did you let the shinobi in? Did you do? Because they said she saw him too, letting shinobi into where his quarters were in Osaka. He was like, yeah, she was just tired. Yeah, man, it was me, bro. I can't do this no more. Like, I'm sorry.
Man, my blood pressure way too high.
My pressure too high. I'm sorry, bro. This and that. And then he was like, all right, bet. You got until tomorrow afternoon to perform super cool on yourself. You can back. He was like, hey, bro, hold on. Cool, I get it. So what I want to do is Umi, I want him to be my heir, my nephew to be my heir. He's a good man. And I think that, the land that they're in, not idle, there was in his fishing village or whatever, that land, Ashigio or something, whatever. He's like, it should go to Umi. He was like, it ain't. So I said, well, first of all, this land ain't yours to give. Okay, that's number one. Number two, yeah, okay, whatever. He's your heir, cool, whatnot. And he was like, yeah. So like I said, you got until tomorrow afternoon to perform super cool on yourself. And then he was like, do you got somebody you want to be your second? He looked up. Yeah, I want the engine. I want Blackthorne. He says, denied. And then he was like, well, I wanted to be you then, my lord. And Toranaga said, quick, yes, okay. He's like, I've been wanting to do this for a while.
Yeah, and then Ajiro.
Yeah, Ajiro. And so at this point, the rest of the show is taking place in Ajiro. Blackthorne goes back to his residence that was given him in Ajiro. We see our girl Fuji. We ain't seen her in a minute since like the earthquake and everything.
Yeah.
And Fuji is like, hey, it's good to have you back, blah, 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 this and that. So I got some news for you. Toranaga is allowing me to go become a nun. You understand what I'm saying? He was like, Blackthorne was like, no, man, I need you here. I need you here with me. And this and that. She's like, no, my lord said I am free of his service and I have been redeemed. I don't have to do this no more. And then he was just like, all right, I get it. You gotta do what you do. She was like, yeah, I get to take the remains of my kid and my husband, and I get to bury it into the family crib, and I get to go become a nun. And she was like, cool, you're gonna be a great nun. And she said, I hope so. Oh, I hope so. I hope to one day be this, great nun. But then he was like, yo, before you go, I want to have a meeting with Toranaga. So we can talk about some say. And so he goes to Toranaga, Toranaga is like, he's like, I don't have a translator here. He says, but my guy here is going to translate to him. And he's like all decrepit and like, and he's like, my lord, I am a lowly fisherman. I can't just. And he was like, he don't know yet.
You don't know yet.
So I said, he don't know yet. And like you see Blackthorne looking like he kind of understands. Like, no way. He was like, no. He was like, man, go ahead and tell him. And then all of a sudden he just straightens up and he gets in his posture. And he tells him who he is. He tells him that he is from this family. He's from the samurai family clan. He says, dude, I'm like, I am his man. I am him. I am him. I am he. I'm his guy. He asked me years ago to take another name, and I came here to be his spy, to look at everything like that. And he was like, oh, by the way, yeah, I can speak English. And he starts speaking, and then Blackthorne's looking like, touche, my guy. Saying, at least I know you've been keeping it real with you. Besides this, you pretty much just kept it real.
Yeah. Miraji was, been pretty solid so far.
Been solid, keep it real. And so he basically was still talking, and Toranaga basically was like, Toranaga was like, yo, we gonna find out who burnt your ship down, because when they first got back, you see beheaded people and everything, like they are harassing the hell.
They are,
about the crew. Yeah. And then Blackthorne is basically thinking back to how Marco basically saved him. And he's like, look, man,
you gotta leave these people alone, yo.
Leave these people alone, man. It's my fault, the ship. And he explained to Toranaga, like, yo, she went to the Christian church and told them to let me go. And, but the price, he says, I didn't know what the price was, but I know they had to burn my ship to let me go. So it's my fault. He's like, it's my fault that this happened. So please stop. Toranaga looked at him dead. So no, I need to find out who my enemies are. And then Blackthorne is like, my G, like, come on, man, like, stop this nonsense. And he's like, no, no, we're going to find out my enemy. And then he was like, look, man, he said he put the sword out and put it down like he was about to perform seppuku.
He said,
and
me,
then, right,
me, I'm your enemy.
Toranaga was
I'm
like,
the enemy.
Remember Toranaga looked at him and said, what the hell you about to do, bro? He was like, hey, man, me, I'm your enemy. He just kept yelling, it's me. He said, it's my fault. Stop it. He says, don't do this. Stop. And then Toranaga just looked at him and was like, he took that sword out, and even the dude, his homeboy, even his right-hand man was looking like, yo, he about to really let him do this crap or whatever. He took that thing out, was like, it's me. And he was like, and then he started poking himself a little bit. So I said, hey, yo, chill, bro.
Hey. So you done, huh?
So
you done?
He said, so is your war done that you had? Because remember, Blackthorne war when he first got there was against the Catholic Church.
He was trying to kill all the Catholics.
And stuff. He said, you done? He was like, man, I'm done. He was like, all right, bet, cool.
Stop being a little hoe.
Yeah.
And make me some ships.
Right. He says, you can rebuild your ship and then help me build a fleet. Cool. So then we see Yabashige being led to his execution. His execution by his nephew Ume. And he's telling Ume, and he's talking to Ume, and Ume was like, yo, I'm my uncle. Thank you for, picking me to be your heir. And Yabashige also said, hey, make sure my wife finds a good husband that's not an idiot. He said that's not an idiot. So I'm like, oh, you talking about not you, basically. All right, cool. So it's not you. And so he's walking, because Yabashige is walking with his nephew, and then that other kid that's like his servant. They never really said who he was.
It's like, definitely like his
squire or something like that, if you want to go in that
term for it.
That term or whatever. And so he basically goes and he's just like, hey man, like, Umi was like, yo, you've taught me so much, this and that, uncle, and I love you, whatever, but man, whatever. And then he's just like, well, this is where the lessons ends. Oh, by the way, here's my death poem. And they listened, and the death poem was basically something like, when I die, let me just stay in the fields, and hopefully I feel the belly of some hungry dogs or something like that.
Yes.
Yabashika's being an idiot, and like, hey, a joke's the idiot to the end. And Ume's reading, it's like, what? And then he leaves his last will and testament. Did you notice he didn't give it to Umi?
No, he gave it to his boy.
He gave it to his little servant, because he kept saying, you served me well, this and that. And then gave it to his. So, and then Umi looked like, oh, I'm not in that. I'm your heir, but you ain't leaving. It seemed like he left everything to this, his squire kid.
Possibly.
Then we don't know, because they don't really.
Yeah, they don't
make that clear.
I mean, they imply some stuff, which I can appreciate. And then the next scene is basically what we already described.
Yeah. So you want to go into detail exactly what he says going to happen?
I mean, we already talked about. I mean, you watch it, you already know. Like, he basically saying, like, look, I played everybody. I'm the one who set the boat on fire. I told Mariko to do the thing she told it she had to do. And I will say this: the cool thing about his whole plan was knowing that, like I said before, Mariko wanted to die. She wanted to die honorably. And he knew that her death would unify his cause.
Right. Because he said that a woman did what an army couldn't do.
And I think like that was the line for me that made me feel better about her death, because any other, like, because it felt like you just like sacrificing a woman. But then I had to remember, she ain't want to live anyway, Rashad. So why are you being upset? You just wanted the character to live.
And then remember, she said that, episode 8, when she said it at the end, he said, are you ready?
Yeah.
So what you need to do. And she said, yes.
Because he was like, look, yo, Crimson Sky already happened, stupid.
Right. That's the best part. That was the best part, because like he was like, what about Crimson Sky? This and that. She was like, yeah, Crimson Sky happened because of her. Her dying was what caused its Crimson Sky, you know, and all
Yeah,
that.
and now when I'm saying it makes even more sense because everybody was so sad about it. The only person that wasn't sad about it was Shido. And that exposes Shido for just a power hungry lust, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That he wanted. And not even that he wanted, but Lady Chiba really recognized, like, yeah, okay, all right, I need to go holler at my real people anyway.
Because I think she really at first was trying to, you know what I'm saying, just play the game with Shido.
Oh, definitely.
But what Shido messed up at was he went to her like, hey, you know, saying, I think you should marry me, girl, and this and that. And then that's when she realized
this
dude
just
trying to get power
for the money, yo. So
go ahead. I'm sorry. No, you go ahead.
So like that part for me was like interesting, and I'm glad that the show like resolved that piece of it, like made it very clear. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
I also loved how Toranaga, she was like, so was the Anjin in on this all the time? He was like, no, man. He says, you know how many times I wanted to kill this dude? He was like, you know how many times I wanted to kill him, take his head or whatever? He said, but I didn't. You know why? I thought it was funny. He made me laugh.
You kept homeboy around because basically he was like,
his court gesture. Yeah,
like he was the jester character to him.
Like I said, Toranaga is diabolical, yo. He says, man, I wanted to take his head so many times, but I didn't because man,
he was funny, man.
He was a funny dude, man.
That is so funny, yo. Like just like you, Yabushige, but like just not as double crossy. Right. You know what I'm saying? So the ending scene is like a cool scene because we get our boy Butaro's back, and he's like, you know, basically calmed down fully, understanding that his wife has passed, and he pretty much know Blackthorne's.
But you saw how shook Blackthorne was at first. You saw him walking up.
Not this guy right here.
Because they are showing Blackthorne and some more of the soldiers. They are trying to
pull the ship out. Yeah,
you know, the remains of the ship out. So he was going to rebuild it. And then they was like, let's take a break. And they looked, and Taro was walking up, and he had this look like this. Here, this motherfucker.
I gotta do like I'm so tired. I just pulled his boat up, but for no success.
Right, you know, I'm mourning. You know, his wife.
I'm mourning his wife is crazy.
Yeah, I'm mourning his wife. You know, I just got to, you know,
like, she was like, fam, like both of our boo died. Like
our boo died, man.
Why are we upset?
And then you just see Butaro take his sword.
His wife.
Yeah, that is wild. He gave his sword to his little, I guess, the samurai version of a squire, and he grabs the rope to help, and then he's like, all right then, hey. Like, so Bintaro was the one person they needed to help pull this out, and they get the ship out, and he's like, it's beautiful, and they're excited, and you see Toranaga like standing like off a cliff of the rock, and like him and Blackthorne like kind of acknowledge each other with a head nod. It fade to black in the show. Also, what happened too, we forgot. We mentioned it, but didn't say. Before Fuji was going to get ready to leave to go to her monastery, Blackthorne was like, here, come with me on this ship. And she said, what you gonna do? Roll me to the you're gonna roll me to the he was like, no. And he basically told her, like, look here. He was like, don't put your remains of your husband. Let them be free. Let them become one with the water, you know, this type of stuff. And they pour the ashes into the lake or wherever they're the little base. So that was a nice little thing with them.
It was,
and he was going to hold on to that necklace, the rosary that she had.
Yeah.
And then she was like, yo, let it go. And he dumped it in there. But other than that, yeah, man, you know, the show ended. I liked it for what it was, but questions I have. Thank you, Rashad, for, you know, explaining to me what you think the situation was with old man Blackthorne and his little bastard grandkid. That's disrespectful. Because at first I was like, no, this motherfucker didn't go back and tell his kid, oh, they were savages. But I said that would be on par with him, you know what I'm saying? And this and that.
He's a liar anyway.
He's a liar. So I'm gonna say one things I did like about this whole series first. What I liked about this series was dialogue. Granted, I don't speak Japanese. I don't speak Japanese at all. And if you have to pay attention to this to see the dialogue. Dialogue is probably the biggest strong suit in this. Great storytelling, great writing. I also love the realism of it. I felt like I was back in
Feudal
that
Japan,
time,
man.
that
Like
feudal
it
Japan,
was good.
feudal Japan area. I did see like a little mini documentary that was on YouTube where they actually used real katana blades. So them katana blades were not blunted; they were very real. And you know, a couple of small accidents on set, but nothing,
A couple
nothing too.
nicks.
A couple of nicks here or there, you know, a little shaven nick or something, but nothing here or there. Um, One thing I truly did like, I'm sorry, people, a certain brand of people may not like what I'm about to say, but Rashad probably know what I'm about to say, and I don't care, and he's going to agree with me. They didn't have the white savior complex.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
Blackthorne was not the white savior in this film, because that was my biggest fear, because how they did a movie I did like, but I didn't like the white savior complex, was The Last Samurai with Tom Cruise. I get it, Tom Cruise is a big actor, but they had the white complex savior with him. The white guy, the white man comes to save it. They didn't do that. He basically was a pawn the whole time and had no idea. And I love too how Toranaga was like, maybe one day, he was telling Yabashika, maybe one day I'll tell him the truth about, you know, what happened to his ship after he builds my fleet and rebuilds his ship, and he won't really care after that. But well, you know, maybe one day I will. But I do love that, and the setting and the costume design once again was A1.
Perfect.
And then two, like I said, I don't speak Japanese at all, but I felt everything. You know, what I'm saying, they facial expression wise, and you felt everything that was really going on in this show. So those are the things I did like. What about you, bro?
Yeah, I kind of felt like they took a page from anime with that. Because you got to remember, there are a lot of like English speaking people who
Mm-hmm.
only watch dub.
Yeah.
Especially now. I know like the kids now, the show can be on blast and they still got the sub on anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So that part was very strong for me. Also, just how can I say this? Like I really appreciate how they really took the time to get the conceptually get the show right, because
Mm-hmm.
they announced the show back in like 2018 that they was gonna
Mm-hmm.
make it, and it didn't come out to 2024. Of course,
Uh,
pandemic and all that good stuff too, but still, they still allowed them enough time to get the show right, get the casting right.
mm-hmm.
All that stuff was like really good, man. Like, come on now, like that actor who played Yabashige, like he was daggone, like he was perfect for that role. Like, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
people were cast perfectly, and that and just the overall flow of the show, which leads me to my last question.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you think this is like a perfect example of subverting expectation? And to me, it is yes.
Yes.
One of those reasons because usually when they take a property like this, they'll change some very key things from the
Mm-hmm.
source material,
Mm-hmm.
and it's usually for the negative,
Okay.
especially with how they would have had the white savior trope. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Mariko would have been alive.
Mm-hmm.
Toranaga would have did some had some sort of misstep or something, and would made him look um like he didn't have a plan the whole time. Like there would have been some things,
Yeah.
some changes in the show to like accommodate quote unquote Western sensibilities, and I appreciate how they kept it to how it was.
So this miniseries was done before in the 80s.
Yeah,
And I looked it up, and in the 80s, they actually show like the battle scene and all this stuff like that. And they diverge from what happened in the 80s a whole lot. Not a whole lot, but a good portion of stuff that happened in that one, because apparently in that one he was still a reluctant person to accept the Shogun. Like, I got this, but I got this because I want to. When the 2024 series that just happened, he wanted this all
he was
along.
like,
He was like,
I got y'all bastards.
yeah, I wanted this all along, but I still wanted to do this in a way where there wasn't any any major bloodshed. There was some
Yeah.
bloodshed, but wasn't any major bloodshed. So I appreciate for that. Now, questions I still have is things I wish I would have seen. Number one, I wish we would have seen Buntaro a little more in this final episode, like grieving Mariko's passing, because we
Yeah.
did know that he really did love her. He really did love her, but because of what her family did, he basically treated her like trash. And he realized, I treated you like trash. And remember, she was just like, hey man, let's just, die together like husband and wife. And she was like, I'd rather daggone die 1,000 deaths alone than daggone be anywhere near you. You saw that man break down. So I wish we would have seen him kind of mourning a little more with her passing. Another thing I wish we would have seen. I wish we would have seen maybe like a ceremonial ending where he is anointed the Shogun of Japan until the until the heir.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel
I
you.
wish I could seen that anointing of him being the Shogun. So now that this has been clarified, now that I know it's been clarified that felt like it was a dream sequence. If that wasn't a dream sequence, I wish we would have seen how did he get back to England, saying who did he have kids with,
Yeah.
and then of something. But now that I kind of got the feeling that was a dream sequence, I don't have to work. Saying I don't really need that. I really don't need that no more. And I guess too, I would have not to see the battle, but it would have been good to see everything line up where she was like, yeah, baby, what you gonna do now, Toranaga? Let's go. And just him and his men lead out the charge and everybody else is stand pat. And then next thing you know, the heir's already coming in behind him and he's looking like, oh, snap. But I'm cool without seeing the battle. Battle scene would have been cool. And that's what I mean by what you say by tempering expectation. Like I really went into this final episode thinking we are going to see pure carnage. I'm going to see limbs taken all over the place, this and that. None of that. The only limb you saw taken off was only death you really saw on camera was what's his name? Yeah, Yabashige's decapitation. Other than that, it was all clear.
The only thing I really wish I could have saw more throughout the season was unless I just don't have a keen eye, was more of the people who are helping Toranaga. Like I wish I could have seen just like more of like like people hand and stuff, people like just to let us know, like just to cue the audience just a little bit that this man really has a plan.
But I think that was part of the surprise.
That's what I know this is one of those like reveal things that I hate sometimes. But that for me was because it could have made the last episode a little bit stronger in my opinion, because there was a lot of tell and not show in the last episode. Which like in retrospect, I understand why they went that route. Also, they probably spent a hell of a lot of money on them first couple of episodes, and their budget definitely went to that. So there was no way they was going to have a full knockdown, drag out battle. This series would have cost like $200 million. But economics aside, like that's the only thing that I really wish they would have did. Just a little more showing us some of Toranaga's very cunning ways. But other than that, what is
a letter grade or else a 1 to 10? A. Yeah. A. 100% A. This is for me.
This is a show, man. Like I can't like
this probably goes into my top 10 shows maybe all time because of how it's
I haven't even thought about that, but like I could see something inserting this in, you know what I'm saying? But this one right here, is it was an honor to watch. Like
best way to say it. And here's the thing, like I have been so excited about this show from when the first trailer dropped last summer or whatever like that. And I remember I was telling Rashad like, hey man, You seen this trailer for Shogun, like, and it wasn't even like a crazy trailer. It just was like,
it just was scene,
yeah.
source, rain, Shogun on FX.
Yeah. And I was like, yo, I'm here for this. I can't wait. Like I said, I think the first time when we did like a preview of what the show was going to be, I grew up, you know what I'm saying, on these like films like this on Saturdays after the cartoons. It was like, it was like, I know this, this is in Japan and kung fu, but it's like kung fu theater type stuff, those type of shows or whatever. And I mean, this just was a great, well-rounded show, and damn, it's sad to see it end, because at first I thought, yo, this new series is gonna be great, and I was like, hold on, this is a mini series or whatever. So this is just one shot, baby. And for those of y'all that are still wondering, like, mini series, think Roots, think Roots, think Shaka Zulu. Miniseries, you know what I'm saying? Like, we only get one Kizzy, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Blind Owl. But yeah, man. Yeah, so I'm happy with this. I'm interested to see like some of my coworkers who were like, one of my coworkers, she's 10 toes deep into it, because I told her you need to get it. And she was like, oh my God, this show was so good. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous how good the show is. And she was just like, I know you're so excited, Tony. I said, yes, I am. So I can't wait to talk to her tomorrow about the, this series finale. And yeah, Rashad, A for me, man. Great show. And so far, my show of the year so far.
Me too, man. Yeah, that's all we got for this one, though. Check us out tomorrow. We'll be back. X-Men 97, episode number 7.
Another series, another show running in that might be in the running for show of the year, depending how these last few episodes go.
And it's an animated series at that. Like, yeah, man, having a good time.
A question: how many do you? I will say this: it's early, and we won't probably hear about this until next year. Probably next year. If this show don't win any Emmys, I'm going to be very disgusted.
Bruh, like, I don't even want to think about them not giving them, because it's just gonna make me upset, upset. So, but yeah, I might do like a 5-minute video. Like, you said you wasn't gonna do it, but I did it for the people, and I watched second part of Rebel Moon. I watched The Scargiver, and I got a couple things to say. Then I'm gonna be out your way. But yeah,
I'm gonna ask you one question.
Okay.
Is it better than the first one?
No.
Listen, you know how I've been. You might have to do that with your cousin again if she watches it.
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm gonna ask Nada if she saw. Shout out Nada, but yeah, I didn't.
You know how I was with I forgot the movie. I forgot what movie it was. I was like, was it what's the movie? I said absolutely not. The Madam Spider Woman Web thing. But I said nope. I am 10 toes down. And
it's all good though. It's all good. Like, because like I just was like, I felt like being a completionist. I want to see how it ended. Like, I knew it wasn't going to be a whole lot better because they shot it back to back. So,
ain't the third one coming too?
Tony.
I'll wait to watch.
I'll wait to watch the episode. Yeah. I'll wait to watch the episode. We will. We'll see y'all tomorrow again, 7 p.m. Thanks for subscribing and all the stuff, man. All the places y'all know. To the next time.